Well, hello once again, and welcome to the Rude Boy Sound. I am a DJ Paul, and this is the Tuesdays, 2 days in the week. 2 days, 2 days to Tuesday. Tuesday, y'all. Tuesday for you. Tuesdays. I need a title for my Tuesday. Normally, I do my review on Tuesday for the game before, or the game that just completed, which would have been the United game. But I took that time to do a little preview or review of the players that were supposed to be coming back and what we looked like against United. And obviously, we played a very poor United team, and we did what needed to be done. I don't see anything that really jumped out at me except that the guy I always advocated for, and if I might just recap what I said before, just in case you don't want to go over there and listen to it, to come back here, I'll just do a quick snapshot of what I pretty much said. And the top of that leads me to James Madison, who happens to score the goal I've been advocating for. Let James Madison fail. Don't pull him the first time he has a bad game. And so in the lineup that I had predicted, I wanted James Madison to be next to Benton Kerr and also Bergvall, which I got my wishes with mentioned, because you will see Madison at the number 10, is that I expressed that is full time, that we do away with the experiment of Kulusevski being the number 10. I have my take on the reason why I don't want him to be a number 10, even though he's a very dynamic player. He's not a playmaker in the sense of how you'd want your number 10 to be, and therefore I'd want to see Bergvall being trained and groomed in that position, and therefore next to him I would want to have Madison. My main hang-ups, or two hang-ups that I have with Kulusevski, is that he doesn't get the ball around and in different places. He takes it and he goes, which means that he's a dynamic player, which you want your players, in the front, to be dynamic. But then again, you also have to worry about inclusion. How do you get everyone else involved with everything that you're doing? And that is where Bergvall and Madison comes in, and that is where I'm saying, hey, a lot of people are calling for Kulusevski to be in the middle, but I understand why they're calling for him. It's because we don't have the playmaker in the middle. But we do have the playmaker, but we don't use the playmaker that we have. And now with Bergvall, coming through and showing that he can actually play as a defensive midfielder and also as a number 8, and can push up in that number 10 role, then we don't have to worry about Kulusevski coming inside. That's the first thing. Second thing, third thing, somewhere in there they're all muddled. But the third thing is that Kulusevski doesn't go far left. And that has always been my criticism of him. More than anything else, I need my number 10 to be going left, and he doesn't go left at all, meaning that half of the pitch is not seeing his presence. And therefore, I want to see somebody like Madison who can go over there, Bergvall who can go over there and do his thing. Even Sarr, for that matter, who can roam and go over there. I rather see them in the mix as far as that part of the field is concerned. I just don't have Kulusevski as this great creative player. And like I said, I do give him his due. He's a very, very hard worker and a very dynamic player when he's on the ball. But sometimes you don't need that dynamism to be the structure of what you're doing. And when he doesn't need to be dynamic, he just needs to be efficient. And so if you're not getting efficiency, then he's not serving his purpose. Madison can be dynamic. Madison can be just outrageous and do some things with the ball. He can manipulate the ball. But at the same time, he can be very simple. Play a simple pass. You don't get that from Kulusevski. Everything has to be I always refer to Wilfred Zaha. With all the talent that Wilfred Zaha has, he shows that every 6 or 7 games. You don't need to be a worldie every time you do something and everyone go, yeah, Zaha. But when you really look at the production that you're getting from him, it was really passion. That is why I never wanted him at Spurs, just to throw that in there. So Kulusevski experiment needs to go. Now that we have Tell, I like what Tell does. I think he's rushing. I think he's anxious. I've seen him, finish better, and therefore I'll give him some time. I think the pace is against him right now. Give him a couple more games, and he will catch up. The good thing about it is that the Sun experience right away. We didn't see that, against United, is that you shift Son out. You now you have players coming back like Odegaard, so you don't need to. If you're gonna move Son, he's supposed to be going to the bench, so you're gonna substitute him, bring Odegaard in, and who else is there? Johnson is there, who can come in for Kulusevski as well. So we have enough to make sure the front court gets replenished, and so everyone can go out and do everything that they need to do. The attack is okay. It is in good hands. We don't need to do anything with it. Just keep the playmakers where they're supposed to be, and we should be fine. And the back line was okay. I still want to see a little bit more of Spence on the other side. But with Dogan not playing, Poro had to go the full stretch. Gray now is getting a chance to go in the middle where he belongs, and so there are things that are taking shape in the second half, pretty much of the season. And what I had said before is that let's use that as our training ground. Let's use that as our camp. Let's use that as the jump off point to see where this takes us. Use this time as a lift. I don't know if QT, Romero, and Van de Ven will be back before the 1st or 2nd of March. Hopefully, by then we'll have enough to see that, well, then we have a rotation, we have the platoon, we have the people now in the right spot, and we can kick on. Everything that we're doing, as I said before, should be with the hope of probably finishing 6, 7, 8, maybe respectable based on where we're coming from, but we can push the boat out as much as we want, and to see where we'll end up. Everything from that and doing good things. If you're threatening to finish somewhere between 7 and 8, it means that you're in good form. It means you're not dropping point. Right now, you have to clear 37 points to be in contention for those spots, because the teams that are ahead of you are already on 37 points. So you need to get to 38. You need to get to 7 points. Right now, I think we're on 27 or 30? I think we're on 30. So you need 2 wins and a draw to get to where we need to get to, our flat out 3 wins, which is not going to be easy, with City on the horizon, and we are supposed to beat Ipswich. I have absolutely no doubt in my mind that we are going to beat Ipswich. So that's 3 points there, depending on what happens ahead of us, and then we look to see if we can, take another scalp off of Man City. That Marmouche guy that they're bringing is something else. So I am going to, sort of back up a little until we see what happens. But enough of that. I want to get into today and what I am intended to just ask a few questions. I'm not going to dissect it. I just want to put it out there, and because I really have a bone. I have a bone to pick, and so I want to ask a question. I want to be proactive in what I'm asking, because I want to be able to ask these questions pretty much of this slide that I have here. I'm going to let this slide run, and you see this is supposed to be the organizational chart that you see going there, with Daniel Levy being the chairman. Chief football officer is Scott Munn, technical director Johan Lang, chief scout Mackenzie, and of course the manager is Ange Postecoglou. And this is where I want to stick a pin and see if I can solicit an argument that will make sense to me. So with this slide that you're looking at right here is actually the people we as fans expected to direct the club. Without, and I'm not going to try to provide any answers. I'm just going to leave this out there as questions. We all know that Daniel Levy, in the macro sense of everything, the big part of the club is that he's in charge. He's pretty much in charge. I know a lot of people want to lay all the blame at his feet, and that's fine. He's the head honcho, and he should get the blame. In the big sense of everything, we want to look at Daniel Levy and say, well, if this is happening, if the club is failing, then it's that man up there's fault. No doubt about that. We sometimes talk about Daniel Levy not being a football man, and I'm trying to figure out how we got to that point of saying that Daniel Levy isn't a football man, and Daniel Levy keeps meddling into everything that the football people that he appoints, that they all the people that he appoints, that they are, or he appointed them, that they're not doing their job. And so I kind of take a look at it, and I try to go through the whole organization of everyone at Spurs to see what each and every one do by name, from Donna Collin to Rebecca to I have some other names. I forget them now at the time because that wasn't what I started out with and where I wanted to go with it. But when you get to this particular piece right here, where you will see in a minute the organizational chart that was displayed before with Daniel Levy heading the chart, and then you look at the people who was brought in their respective area of responsibility to the football. These are football men. These are people who are supposed to be football gurus at what they do, and has been successful while they were at other clubs. If you look at Scott Munn and what he brought from Asia and from Australia, all of that, you look at it and you said, hey, what, look at this guy. We all know about Daniel Levy, but let's bring some of these guys to the forefront and see exactly what they're doing. I'm not going to try and answer any questions because I don't know. I'm just putting it out there. I'm putting the teaser out there because the argument right now is that Daniel Levy is the football. Daniel Levy is the football club. And therefore, I want to put these guys out there and said, when you look at the chief football officer in Scott Munn, what are you seeing? What do you expect from him? Why is it that for the guy who everyone below him answers to, his name is never part of the equation? Why does it have to go all the way back up to Daniel Levy? That's a question I would like to ask. The technical director of football is Johan Lang. Johan Lang, has his niche in the market, in terms of who he scouted, who he brought in when he was a manager, not too good as a manager, so as scout and all the things that he brought prior to coming to Spurs. You saw what he did at Aston Villa. And you're saying then, if this is what you're doing, and I have a list of, which I'm not going to put it out, I'm just putting teasers there. And when you look at all the players, and I think in conjunction with Rob, because both of them worked together before, is that you look at the likes of Orel, Young-Min Song, Trippier, and a number of other players that Vertonghen, Ollie Watkins. Those are the players that these two men are associated with. These are these are the players that they go out and they sign. Now, what is synonymous with these signings? And I'm kind of putting Rob and Johan Lang together, Rob McKenzie and Lang, because they both should be the fulcrum of what's happening with the club. And so when you're asking the question as to what are they doing? What are they doing when the window is open? What are they doing when the window is closed? What kind of preparation are they doing? What are they preparing for come the end of the season, a season that is technically lost, right? What are they doing? What is it that they're working on? Who are they looking at? Who are they scouting? Who are they intend to bring in at the values that their niche found themselves in, using the algorithm, using the analytics? That's what they're known for. And so if Spurs is a mid when I say mid spender or a spender who's going to be 50 million down, you're going to find it very hard to convince Daniel Levy to sign the check for more than 50 million dollars. Then we have the two people who can go and find the players who later on becomes sort of household name in the Premier League. When you have Johan Lang and you have Rob McKenzie, and now so them two are pretty much, and we know exactly what Ange is bringing, right, in terms of his coaching style, the culture that he wants to change, everything that's going on. We see Ange being exposed right now as a man who is willing to die on the hill of what he has in his brain and what he wants to deliver. So I want to take a good look at this list, and of course I'll circle Daniel Levy, and in terms of let's take a look at the entire list again, and you see from the top, with Daniel Levy being the chairman, what does Daniel Levy brings to the football? What does he bring as a man who is making the final decision? And how are those decisions being made and being made final when it gets to Daniel Levy? We want to look at the technical director, Johan Lang. We want to look at the chief scout, Rob McKenzie. We want to look at the manager in Ange Postecoglou, and whether or not these men are doing, these three men, and then Levy at the top of the spear is doing him justice, whether or not they're giving him the tools for him to succeed. We all know that Ange is touted as a finder of talent because of his outside success. So I'm not going to give him a pass. I know that in terms of what he wants, he often said that he see what he wanted, and he will communicate that to the group for them to give him what he's asking for. And therefore I'm just asking, when you look at that list again, which I'm going to do before I close, I'm going to tie it up there, because all I'm asking is, what do you think of Daniel Levy in terms of what he's doing and the people that he assembled? Because we are going to blame him, which we should. I'm not taking that away. We should blame him for every single thing. If a blade of grass don't grow on the pitch, that's Daniel Levy's to be blamed. It doesn't matter. It does not matter what it is. Every corner, every square of Tottenham Hotspur, the blame is supposed to drop there. So are we being too hard when we said we would like to see some football men brought into the club? And I think this roster right here will tell me that there are some good names in there. There are some success that is in there. There's success coming from these guys in their own niche that where they were before they come to Spurs. So is it a thing that everyone is coming to Spurs to die? Is it players coming to Spurs and they're getting injured and they're not performing? Are executives and directors and scouts coming in and they're not producing? Is this something that has to do with, as they like to say, is it the culture of Spurs? Is there one man that is stopping the whole thing from working? I don't know. What do you think? I'm just being provocative here and asking the question. I don't have the answers, to be honest with you. So if you do, right, I would like to solicit some comments as to this roster that we're looking at, because that's our football right there. That's the operation of what you see on Sunday. That's what you see on Saturday. That's what you're going to see for the rest of the season. Whatever is out there, it's all these guys' product that's out there. The players in the scheme of everything falls way down the line. These are the men that are responsible for what you're seeing. So I'm just saying that if Daniel Levy is assigning Scott Munn as his director of football, a chief football officer, what does that mean? What responsibility does that take away from Daniel Levy, right? When you have Johan Lang, what responsibility does that take away from Scott Munn, who Lang, report to? Same thing with Rob McKenzie, who I think report to Lang, and then Ange at the bottom of the poll, pretty much I think he may have reported to Daniel Levy. I don't have that information. I'm not going to say something I don't know. Who does Ange report to? But at the end of the day, everyone that's here does report to Daniel Levy. Are you telling me that Daniel Levy doesn't know anything about football, yet he goes out there and make an attempt to hire people in the niche where he think the football should be, and they are not delivering? For me, it is just confusing, because I fail to believe that the team that he put together, right, that he's actually sabotaging the entire team. And that's my take on it. What do you think? DJ Paul, once again for the Rude Boy Sound. Let me drop it over here so you can see it for the Rude Boy Sound. And I will see you when I see you. Leave me a comment. This is important. I really want to hear what you have to say about this particular subject. I really want to get into it. I have some things, like I said, I'm working on. I don't want to get into the going back into the Conte, and the reference can be made, and to Poch and all of that. This is something that is important to me, is to figure out whether or not this group of people right here are good enough for what Tottenham are about. If this group of men that are right here is good enough to change the culture, to build a team, to take the club to another level. What is it about these men who had relative success where they're coming from, and they cannot find that same success right here at Tottenham? You let me know. Peace. I'm the Rude Boy DJ Paul, and I am out of here for another edition of Tottenham USA. Peace. Be good, walk good. Until next time.